Welcome to Where Talent Meets Opportunity, a business show that provides our viewers with business strategies, tips, and information for starting, running, maintaining, and growing any small business. We have a great show planned for you today.
And welcome to Where Talent Meets Opportunity. I'm your show host, Jay McElroy, and today our topic is We Are Making a Difference. And we are here with Sam Gaillard. He is owner of Gaillard and Associates, and he is a CPA. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Sam, I know you may not be familiar with how we conduct our show, but we actually start out simply talking about you and your background. So would you share a little bit of information with us?
Okay. My name's Sam Gaillard. I am a CPA. I've been a CPA for the last 16 years, and I'm currently operating Gaillard and Associates CPA LLC, firm up in Largo, Maryland. We are located on Mercantile Land, 1401 Mercantile Land, on the second floor. And we are a full-fledged CPA firm.
Okay. So tell us a little bit, Sam, about some of the certifications that you might hold.
Okay. I currently hold SBA 88 certification.
Okay.
I hold certification through MDOT, Maryland Department of Transportation, and I currently hold certification also with Prince George County Government.
Okay.
These are the current governing body that I certified through right now.
Now, with the county, with Prince George's government, which certification do you have? Because I know they have 3 certifications.
Well, I have one through I don't know I can't remember the name of the firm, but it's Diversity Supply.
The Supplier Diversity Development Division.
Yes.
What better known as SDDD.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So under that, they have the local business, they have the county-based business, and they have the MBE certification. So your business is actually located in the county. So you would have the local-based business, and then you have the MBE because you have the MDOT.
Correct.
Okay, so you have 2 certifications
Correct.
with them. Okay, perfect. And the reason I want to bring that out, Sam, is because there is a great push in the county for organizations to begin to use county-based businesses, not so much local, because we know the local have offices here, but their headquarters are somewhere else.
Correct.
So they're really pushing to do the local-based businesses. So I wanted to make sure that our audience knew and our viewers know that you are actually a local county-based business.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the work that you've done and type of work that you focus on.
Okay. My biggest focus is on auditing. We do auditing on small private business. We do auditing for nonprofit organization. And we also do auditing for state government. We currently have some subcontracting auditing with Department of Housing in Baltimore. Okay. And we have one with WSSC. Okay. And we also have one with, what's the other agency? I think it's the Maryland Department of Transportation. Okay. But those are the agencies that we currently have a little small contract with. But we also do other accounting work. We do review. Okay. We do compilation. We also do other service and accounting and writing up financial statement. We also do a lot of taxes. We do a lot of taxes, not only the preparation from January to January through April. We also do tax year-round. Okay. We do tax for people who unfiled, we do offer and compromise. We work with clients and represent them in tax audit. And we do a lot of other tax work other than just through January through April of 15. Right. So if anyone have tax problem, they can always come to us. We can see if we can help them out with those type of problem. Okay. Now, Sam, you talked about a couple of the customers that you have.
I wanted to just try to get just buried down just a tad bit on some of the actual work that you might be doing for them. And the reason that I like to be able to emphasize that is if we have a viewer out there that's looking at us and they'll say, okay, well, they actually did these types of things for this type of organization, I might be able to call on them to help me with mine. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to get real deep in your business, but I do want to at least highlight what you've done for those organizations and the types of support that you have there.
Okay. The nonprofit organization that I mentioned earlier, that we create financial statement, profit and loss, the balance sheet, and the balance sheet, income, and we also do the income statement as well. The income statement, and do a cash flow statement, and once we do these, we compile them, put them in an organized, professional, portfolio. Mm-hmm. And we also, as I stated earlier, we do auditing for some of the few nonprofit organizations in the area. Along with doing the audit, we also prepare their 990 tax return form, exempt form. These are some of the type of things that we do for these clients in the area. Okay.
So what types of contracts would you like to be able to pursue, and what type of agencies are you going after?
Well, we have no restriction on no type of client.
We like,
we would like to go at every and try to help everybody. But as we all know, the federal government is the biggest market, mm-hmm. and they're the more lucrative market as well. Next, I would say the state government as well. Okay. And these type of contract is not easy to get. These are highly competitive bidding process. Mm-hmm. But being a 8A certification firm, the field is a little narrow for us. So we are put in a pool with other little small firms, and we bid on compete for these type of contracts. Okay. Private individual, there is no compete. They can simply just call us up and say, we need an audit. Can you send us an engagement letter? And they ask for rates and all that, and we just try to put a proposal together for these type of business. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I try to get down to, because we are going to have a lot of different viewers, mm-hmm. I try to get to a focus. So a lot of times we'll have people who come on and they'll say, okay, we want to focus, or we specialize in healthcare, mm-hmm. or I'm trying to get it narrowed just a tad bit, because we do have a broad audience, like you say, mm-hmm. and I know that a lot of us like to say we're going to cast out a net, right. and we're going to grab whatever we can grab out there. That can work, but when you're dealing with the federal government, every agency that I have worked with and mm-hmm. every agency that has come out to the events that we do, they want us to make sure that the organizations that we deal with mm-hmm. have done their homework. Mm-hmm. And if you go in and you look at, say, the Department of Labor, mm-hmm. and the Department of Labor has tons of grants that they're managing across the board for the feds, mm-hmm. for the federal level, for the state levels, for the county levels, for a city. And you know how the money trickles down. I know you've had that experience.
Correct.
So what I'm trying to do is just to find out, have you looked at those types of agencies and buried down into some specific areas that you might want to focus on?
Yes, we are constantly looking into these type of area and agency that we may want to do work for. I remember years ago that when I first started out in the auditing field with Burt Smith and Company, the CPA for small minority CPA firm, we did a tremendous amount of grant auditing, mm-hmm. travel all over the place, doing grant. But grant auditing is just one area that we're looking at. We look at the broad area.
Right.
We have no restriction. And if we're not qualified to do the audit, simply we just don't go after it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Now, within the state itself, just here in the state of Maryland, what agencies might you be targeting here?
The agency that we are looking at is the Department of Transportation. We are currently being considered right now for an audit project with the Department of Transportation. Okay, and we are targeting the Maryland Housing Authority. We also, well, let me put it this way. We don't have no restriction on no agency that we don't want to chase.
Okay.
We are chasing everything that we can get.
Well, let's talk about some of the challenges that you might have. And I know we only have about 2 or 3 minutes, but maybe there's someone else out there that's trying to get their business up and off the ground and they've run into some challenges. Would you like to share maybe some of the challenges that you've had and some of the successes that you've had getting around those challenges?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is going into business, I guess, is the funding. The funding is the first thing that you would need. Money drive everything.
Money is the key.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And if you have the funding to go into business, I guess the challenge is to how to get it organized. And also you'd be looking at after all of the regulation, the licensing, the certification, and all that process you have to go through in order to get your business up and running, depending on what type of business that you're in.
Right.
In the accounting field, there's all type of certification, licensing, and all kind of requirements.
Right.
So it's starting up a CPA firm. It's kind of as a difficult task.
Right.
Yeah, but also the challenge would be to go ahead and get set up through the Internal Revenue Service. That is one important agency that you really like to get established through in the beginning of establishing your business. Right.
Okay. Well, Sam, I do want to thank you. This is going to be kind of a wrap for the first half of this show.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for joining us, and we will be right back. And once again, our topic is going to be, we're making a difference. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
We will be right back with our next guest on Where Talent Meets Opportunity, a business show that is dedicated to providing small businesses quality business strategies and resources pertaining to all aspects of small business services, support services, and training.
And welcome to Where Talent Meets Opportunity. I'm so glad to have you coming back. We are here once again. Our topic is We Are Making a Difference. We are here with Pam Knight. She is president of Client Business Services and Associates. And we're so happy to be with Pam today.
Thank you for having me.
On our second half of our show, we're so excited. So, Pam, I don't know if you know much about what we do, but we like to start out talking about you and your background. So can you share a little bit with us?
Well, my background, I started in personnel. At that time, that's what it was called back then, personnel at the FAA administration.
Okay.
And I got in there through an internship.
Okay.
And so my job was to hire air traffic controllers.
Oh my God.
And send them to Oklahoma.
So that was a tough job. I had that. I'm sharing this. I had that job. I worked for the Urban League.
Oh gosh.
And they came in, and I know how long ago that was. And they came in and they said, we need to get air traffic controllers. And then I was like, okay, well, you guys ought to be able to get these guys, no problem, right? And so then they gave us the requirements, and I looked at the requirements. I was like, where are you going to find these people? Because, the pressure, being able to see, and it's just like, it was just a lot that they had, so.
Yeah, well, because we were the FAA, applications were coming in a dime a dozen. So, and my job was working, I had 3 areas I worked with was the BWI, Dulles, and National. At that time, that's what it was called, National. And then BWI separated. They didn't totally go away, but they became quasi instead of working directly under the FAA. And so I had to, so when mainly my job was to hire for the entire agency, but I was specially signed to hiring air traffic controllers. And it was kind of fun because I would get to meet these guys. Mainly at that time, it was these guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of guys back then.
And so that's where I started in personnel. And then I continued. And then eventually I left the federal government and went into private sector.
Okay.
And in private sector, I took a sales job. I don't know why, but it was selling electronic typewriters. I'm telling you, you're talking about having a shock to your system. But I did sell some typewriters, and then I left there and started my own business. And I started my own business, and what I did was, because I was selling those typewriters, they didn't have anybody to train them on those typewriters.
Right.
So I decided to reach out to the companies that I sold the typewriters to and
charge them for training.
And set them up for training. They were happy, and then I moved on into business development, like helping small businesses, because a lot of small businesses didn't know what they were doing, and neither did I. But I came in there like I knew what I was doing, and so I helped a lot of small businesses. And then eventually I started working for, I went back to work and I worked with an 8A company. And they were selling software and hardware, and they had won this huge contract with one of the federal agencies.
Okay.
So I won't name them. And so I came in there, and I was supposed to be just a receptionist, but the receptionist left, so they said, well, we need you to do procurement.
Right.
I was like, I don't know how to do procurement. She said, we just need you to go sit there, you'll learn. So that's what I did. And I made friends with all of their distributors.
Okay.
They had 3 distributors, and I made friends and, got the software and hardware out to the federal agencies, and then something happened, and then they had to let me go. So I got home, and I called one of the distributors. I said, I don't have a job anymore. He said, you don't? And I said, no. He said, well, you know what to do.
Right.
I'll set you up.
Right.
So he did.
Okay.
I was like, wow. So I got set up with all the 3 distributors they had, but I had to go out and find my own clients.
Right.
And he said, you will. And then I said, well, okay, I used to be in the government, so let me see how I can do something.
So you're quite the entrepreneur.
Right. So
Stop.
I was like, okay, what do I do? But I used to work for another major corporation, and one of the girls walked off the job, and she never came back. But I caught up with her, and she was working at another federal agency.
Okay.
So I went to see her, and I told her what I was doing, and she said, well, do you have a fax machine? And I said, yeah. She said, okay, well, go home, and I'll talk to you soon. I said, okay. So in about 3 or 4 days, I received a fax for 24 IBM computers.
Wow.
I got the bid. And I won the contract.
Wow.
And so she called me. I said, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I want to see if I did this on my own. And that really literally started me doing government contracting.
Okay.
And from there, I started selling software, hardware, just like I did with that other company. But then the internet was coming through, and it was hard to bid anymore because Compaq, HP, and it was killing me with their prices.
Right.
So one company called me and said, well, can you staff for us? And I was like, no. Staff who? I don't. So, and it kept coming. So I said, well, you know what? Maybe I can move into that and without a lot of difficulty.
Right.
And that's what I did. And so I started staffing for the federal government, for the state government, and for the commercial business. And that's where it came from. And I just kept it going.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your certifications, because I know you have some certifications under your belt.
Yeah.
You got something, right? MBE, DVE.
Well, I got, I've already put it for the MBE, for the MDOT.
Okay.
I did get a letter. It was taking them a while. They said they were short on staff, so it has taken a while. And so she said within the next 30 days, we'll be coming to see you, which would be great. Hopefully they will, I will get the MDOT certification. I did get the WSB, and I'm working on the EDWSB.
Okay.
And I'm finishing up for the county-based certifications.
For Prince George's.
For Prince George's County.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll have just back all of my certifications that I had once before. Self-certified SDB.
Okay.
So that I can maybe make sure I can work in the federal as well as the state and county sector.
Okay. So that sounds really good then. They're getting yourself lined up. So let's talk about the type of staffing that you'd like to be able to do.
Well, this type of staffing that I've done in the past is which really got me rocking and rolling, was I won a contract with the state of Maryland, and my job was to staff their Prince George's and Montgomery County agencies.
Okay.
And that's what I did. And I did that for about 5 years with that particular contract. So it went from administrative to financial to technical. So it was just almost all round type of contract.
Okay.
And eventually I had about 50 employees, and they took about maybe 15 or 20 of those employees to become permanent. So for me, that was a win-win situation, because I'm very happy that people got jobs.
Right.
They came to me for some temporary work, and I was able to help them get real jobs.
Okay.
So that's on one end. And then about a year ago, a couple of companies were asking me to do nursing.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But then, because I've been taking care of my mother and my father at the time, I learned a lot about assisted living, nursing homes. So I said, okay, I could give it a shot.
Right.
And so that's when I started learning, reading, researching what it is I need to do to be ready to receive nurses. So we're doing the LPNs, RNs, CNAs, and so forth, medical technicians and so forth, just a few line of folks. And so I went to talk to several friends of mine who are already in that field and learned what I needed to do, and put together a flyer and so forth, and got a team of people to start calling some of the nursing homes, assisted livings, hospitals, and things like that.
Okay.
And so then I started marketing to those folks and sending out my brochures. And I sent it to one hospital, and 10 minutes later they called me. I was like, okay, my flyer must have said something to him.
Right.
And he called me, and he said he was looking for a particular position, and I said, okay, well, we could do that. And so I'm hoping that we get to go on that one. That would be finally got my foot in the door with that. So we're working on both sides. So we're working with the project management companies for people who need HR people who need people to work on projects as consultants, and of course just regular, everyday administrative staff.
Okay.
So that's one part of it, and then the other part is the nursing, which we're real excited about.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your challenges. Because every business owner that we bring on here has got some challenge. And I know that the challenges maybe in the construction area might be a little different than it would be if it were, say, in I guess I would say in an IT area, right? Mm-hmm. So if you talk to us just a little bit about some of the challenges that you've had in the past.
Well, in the past, when I first started, at that time, it was mainly everything was on paper. You had to mail, everything was mailed to you. And so mainly I just, that at that time the challenge was as great as it is now. Since the internet has come, it has been a challenge, because you're now competing where it wasn't opened up wide, it is opened up wide. So that's the challenge for me now is trying to be seen, get heard, get a contract.
Right.
So
Right.
so now that the internet has come about, and as a small business, everybody is on the internet. You have to be able to stand out some kind of way or build relationships and let the people know that you're sincere about what you're doing. And for one of the things, when I was working with small businesses, and I do this for myself, you really have to put together some great marketing material. I've learned that the hard way.
Right.
But I mean, when I do that, when I put out nice marketing materials, I find that I get more people talking to me than I do when you just put out just anything. And I tell people, fake it until you make it. So,
Right.
if you can only do 25 sheets of something that looks good, do that,
Right.
and be strategic about who you give it out to,
Right.
so that when the real deal comes, you have your information, you have your good-looking stuff to send to people. And so, like I said, I had my graphic designer to put together a flyer to do for a nursing staffing for nurses.
Right.
And he put together some flyer for me, and I said, okay, I'm going to use this. 2 days later, like I said, the hospital called me. I said, oh shucks now. So that's
great.
you know,
That's
so
great.
I think that's one part of it. That was a challenge for me years ago, but not now. I know
Right.
that I need to put out good materials. You also have to be able to have a decent website, so people are. It's easy to maneuver. So
Right.
my people can, when they come to me, they can apply online. The testing that I have to do, they can do that online. I can also interview them online. So if
Okay.
they're far away, they do not have to come to my office.
Right.
We can do this online. I just tell them, you make sure you have a webcam and a computer,
Okay.
and we can do this.
All right.
And that's been working for me pretty well. So one of the challenge I would say is just getting the company to really do business with you. That's a challenge.
That's a challenge.
Even though you have the experience, it's like you keep getting left behind somehow.
I'm going to have to wrap it up.
Okay. All right. So,
I'm going to have to wrap it up.
all right.
But it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Okay.
All right. So I tell you, it's been quite an experience. We're making a difference. And Miss Pam Knight, I am so happy to have had her here today, and I'm so glad you all have joined us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. We ran out of time.
Thank you for joining us on Where Talent Meets Opportunity. We look forward to taking your business to the next level and increasing your business bottom line in days, not months or even years. Until our next show.